Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the latest installment of the RSN Wrestling Podcast. RSN, we spell wrestling. And, we spell wrestling. Everything's going on lately. It's just got me in my feelings. Having a spoonful of ice cream every hour on the hour, just watching old episodes of Raw from 2019, so that's how you know it's really bad. But I do hope all your listeners are safe and sound, and hopefully not wanting to kill the people that you're quarantined with. I know it could be a war over who gets the last roll of toilet paper. That's just kind of how society is nowadays. But I will be with these lovely gentlemen, and let me pass the microphone around. That's your cue.
Oh, that's our cues, huh? Oh.
I was waiting to see if Sal jumped in first.
Yeah, I was just trying to wait because you're the big guy, man. We gotta, spread that out. Yeah.
I mean, I am the first.
No! Don't spread anything.
Oh yes, we can't spread. Yes. We gotta flatten the curve, right? Flatten the curve.
We are observing social podcasting distancing.
Social podcasting distancing. That's the first.
Alright, so we'll take it from here, I guess. This is the big guy, Rich, the person who runs the Instagram page, the Twitter page, partially the Facebook page, and then we also have Sal.
What's up, guys? How's it going? The mastermind, quote unquote. So, I mean, I guess that's I'll take the mic, I guess. But yeah, this is Sal, the mastermind. I co-run the Instagram and also the Twitter pages with and Facebook pages with Rich. I'm also responsible for Anchor and all the other podcasts and other kind of things that we're on. So also we're on iHeart Radio Network, Spotify, Castbox, all these other different platforms that are there. But definitely, I mean, again,
I counted. Do you know how many platforms we're on?
We're probably on, I'd say, 20 after this year, probably about 25 platforms. We started, I think, early last year with like 5 platforms.
Not even less.
Yeah. But now we're on a lot.
We're up to 25.
What are we most popular on?
I think right now I was looking at the analytics. They're saying that so far we're being heard most on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Android Podcasts. Surprisingly, Bullhorn, which is a pretty new podcast network that came out. iHeart Radio Podcast, which is pretty interesting too. And then I think another one. Yeah.
Which I can inform the fans where we range from America to other places.
Yeah, so of course, we're also international. We said it, we're global. So also we're big in France. We're big in, I think, Russia. Big in what else? I think South America. A lot of countries. Brazil. I think what else? Italy. I think is probably big. Where right now, of course, we're keeping high with them. Prayers are out to them. But yeah, a whole bunch of other countries. All over the world, 7 continents, we've hit them. So that's one of the big things too. But yeah, this is of course
we're international.
We're international. We're global. That's our clothesline also. So we always say that we spell wrestling, but then at the same time also we're global. We're everywhere. So that's one of the big things. And of course, besides just talking about on the same topic about being global, we gotta talk about PWO, man. Pro Wrestling Opinion. And we got the man himself, Nick. Not just any Nick, the Nick Lopez.
Nick Lopez.
Yes.
I'm also growing fond of NJL. I like the ring of it. Yes, for anybody listening, I own a pretty little website. It's called Pro Wrestling Opinion. It's your go-to source for pro wrestling news, reviews. Fun fact, I watched every single episode of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Impact, Lucha Underground, in 2015 and in 2016.
That was
every
right?
single show and every pay-per-view. In 2016, that wasn't easy. We had 28 pay-per-views in 2016, and they're all up there. And I also do classic shows too. You could find WCW Uncensored 95. You could find there was that WCW pay-per-view with the first show of the Battle Bowl. I think it was Starrcade 91, if I'm not mistaken. That's also up on there too. Backlash 2007 is up there. So if you're feeling the throwbacks, if you're quarantined a little bit too much and you feel like you just need a nostalgia trip, go on ahead to ProWrestlingOpinion.com. And then if you get your fill of ProWrestlingOpinion.com and you want to listen to some music, then by all means, I have another website. It's called The Music Bugle. Growing up, I was a pretty big Spider-Man fan, so it's partially inspired by the Daily Bugle. I guess you could call me Jonah Jameson. But the Music Bugle is also your go-to source for the up-and-coming music news. Singles, music videos, you check it out. I am also hosting a show on Stationhead called Music Bugle Radio. To be able to listen to it, though, you'll need to download the Stationhead app. You can find me at my station,
I have it.
Nick Jason Lopez.
Yep.
Our own Rich has a station on there as well. So if you do happen to have the app, feel free to check it out. And on Music Bugle Radio, we only play new stuff. So if you're down to listen to some up-and-coming artists in genres from pop, metal, country, anything under the sun, that's your home. If you want to hear the newest songs coming out, check it out. You're quarantined. You got all the time in the world now.
Definitely.
Nick, I have a question about your PWL.
Yeah.
Do you even have that amazing show, December to Dismember? The ECW WWE pay-per-view?
I don't think I have that on there, but I did have the unfortunate circumstance of watching it live, and I think that was bad enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other shows that, of course, we got to talk about. I know a lot of people...
Hands down, one of the worst pay-per-views ever.
Yeah.
It really was.
Outside of the Eminem and Hardy's match.
Yep. Well, beyond that, I mean...
That was actually quite a good match, but
yeah.
The rest of the show, to-do.
That's right.
It was a horrible show.
That's right. It was probably... And again, I mean, speaking of horrible shows, I mean, we're going to have a couple of topical podcasts coming up soon. So, of course, we talk about, of course, I think we had all of our different topics. Best and worst of pay-per-views. We're now on that subject. Top, best and worst of, I think we had, like, what else? Like, heels and faces and stuff like that. I forgot. We have so many topics. It's crazy. We got Rise and Fall, ECW, WCW.
We did 250 episodes.
250 videos, like I said. Yeah, but there's a lot of...
Seems like a much bigger number than I'm used to.
Yeah.
I will say, though, listeners, our Rise and Fall WCW episode has somewhere in the hundreds in terms of YouTube views. So that is by far and away our most popular episode.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling a little bit history, you want to learn about wrestling in the 90s or get our perspectives on it, go on YouTube, check it out.
Definitely. And I mean, we're now on the topic of that. We also got a couple new topics. Of course, two of the big topics we have, of course, popular ones. Best stage setups, which we're going to have in a few. And then also we have our other topics, which is about catchphrases. And again, we also have other kind of episodes also, but more of them are coming out soon. But for the time being, I mean, right now we have our Running the Ropes series, I guess, where we talk about all the stuff that's going on in the month wrestling. A lot of stuff going on right now.
It's basically a new name for our shoot.
Our shoot, exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on since.
We're trying to keep it PC so we don't
just
get in
call
trouble.
it quarantine quarrels, but I don't know about that.
Yeah.
The reason why we're dropping the name shoot is we're trying to not be in trouble. We want to keep it PC.
PC, and also, very friendly on the airwaves, because we've had a lot of trouble with YouTube. I mean, I can't speak I can eat your ears off about that, but it's one of those things,
Yeah, we're not so much of a fan of YouTube anymore. That's why you haven't seen much of our new content on YouTube.
That's
They
right.
kind of removed a few of our videos.
Yep, and we're still in the process of having a couple of videos still, but we're gonna win that fight for sure. I mean, we've been everywhere. You guys are loyal, so definitely keep track of that also.
Yeah, there's been much worse on YouTube.
Yep. There's a lot of platforms. So we're still on a lot of platforms. I mean, we've always said that before. But I mean, now for, talking about this right now, no wrestling.
So we go from 25 platforms to 24. It's okay.
24. But here's one of the things. The best part is we're not in the empty arena. We're actually, being heard everywhere. So it could be one person. It could be 5 people listening at the same time. It could be 20 people listening at the same time. At least it's not like other environments where it's like, oh, here's a big crowded arena. Oh, wait, there's no one here. Because why? We got this stupid, crazy, craze going on. I guess we call it a pandemic right now. What'd you say?
Yeah, it's a pandemic.
"Quote unquote" pandemic.
Corona Mania is running wild. I just had to
Corona
get that out
mania
there.
is running wild. Yes, yes.
Hey, Mickey, if you want to get it out, you said it. You're good.
Yep. Well, this is
Okay.
one thing too. This
It felt
this
quite therapeutic.
yeah, that's true. I mean, especially in this time, these hard times, they call it "quote unquote" wartime, I guess, but it kind of feels like that. It's kind of like, I guess, like, again, the quarantine time. Now everybody's just sitting home, nothing to
Someone
do.
switched the game from campaign mode to zombie.
That's right. We're basically in a Fallout.
Hands down.
Yeah, we're in a Fallout environment basically. This is Fallout, man, real life. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, what do you guys? I mean, let's talk about this so far. Many companies, I mean, specifically AEW and WWE, have done a lot of stuff. So, I mean, one of the big steps, all the different promotions, is they've stopped all their shows. I think New Japan completely closed down their whole schedule. They're not doing any more shows, period, until the time being.
ROH suspended shows for 3 months.
Yeah, and you have wrestlers going on, I think, GoFundMe, go GoFundMe pages and trying to get, subsidized through there and all this stuff, losing a lot of jobs. What was it? AEW had empty arena. WWE had no, empty arena shows and all that stuff. So
AEW's Empty Arena show was amazing, actually.
yeah, well, we're gonna get to that also. But I mean, let's go on the topic of this first. Empty arena setup. What do you guys feel about that? I think there's been rumors that Vince said that he doesn't like it. He doesn't prefer that. It's bullshit.
Okay. I'll break in first because
Yeah.
I feel like talking.
Yeah.
As far as I feel like we should probably address WWE because they were kind of first to go out from behind the curtain with this whole concept. Started with an episode of SmackDown, actually. And now this is kind of my take on it. For the first go around at it was a little bit of a weird experience, but this is the thing. WWE is mostly known for its one specific type of storytelling, and they're going to do that whether there's a crowd or not. So when you see Bayley and Sasha Banks dancing around the ramp and interacting with absolutely nobody, and you're going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin saying, "Give me a hell yeah," to a bunch of empty chairs that the camera did legitimately pan on. I don't know if that was like a little bit of poking some fun at the situation, or if they honestly believed that was the best way to tell the story. That was quite cringeworthy stuff, especially with Byron Saxton. Hell yeah! I was like, oh my god, what the hell am I watching?
Oh man, yeah. That was cringe central.
And then you see AEW's concept of presentation, and it actually felt like a breath of fresh air. You actually forgot that it was an empty arena, as they did the smart thing. They turned the hard camera around so that it faces the video wall, thus making the empty chairs, it's not even really a factor. And they put crowd numbers of the roster in the actual crowd, so you had things like Shawn Spears and MJF betting
on one side, the faces on the other.
Yeah, as the way it should be. I kind of love that they keep the kayfabe alive, so to speak. And you don't really get that in a lot of places, and I felt like they incorporated that as best as humanly possible. Plus, Savard just deserves a fucking Grammy after that performance.
Oh yeah, his rendition of Judas was priceless.
Oh man,
I mean, after seeing WWE do it for so long, and then seeing AEW have a fresh, brand new perspective on it, I definitely think AEW is winning the Empty Arena Awards. Just saying. But not to say that WWE isn't doing a completely bad job of it. We did get some gems. Edge's promo, which he supposedly drove 17 hours from Toronto to accomplish. That felt organically done. The Cena Wyatt segment from the episode of SmackDown that closed the recent episode, that felt like it was well done. And then you've seen a couple of things like sit-down interviews, in the middle of the ring. Those are things where you wouldn't have really gotten in any other situation had it not been for this empty arena thing. But now, with the news ahead of us, now that we know WrestleMania is going to take place on 2 separate days, and it's going to be at the Performance Center, and supposedly at a couple of other locations closed off meeting quarantine and social distancing rules. MSG was rumored to be one of those places. I doubt it though, since they shut it down over here. But Vince McMahon has a million and one sources for revenue, so I wouldn't be surprised if he hit up someone at the curtain and was just like, "Hey, I want to broadcast Mania for an hour from the arena. Can I do it? And I'll pay you this much." So
I just want to see what they're going to do with the attendance.
Oh, they're still going to taunt it as an all-time attendance record because 0 is an all-time attendance record.
Yeah, that's right. It is going to be a record, though. It is, no lie.
There are rumors, though, because they're saying that Lesnar potentially could not make it to Mania, which would mean his match with McIntyre maybe goes to Raw or it gets thrown out completely, which would suck because I think a lot of us looking forward to this year's Mania is probably going to be McIntyre's crowning achievement, but now because of this whole pandemic, it might not even go down that way. He might even lose without the crowd being there.
That's
so
right.
what looks like a really shining
I also read that
McIntyre, it could be a major setback for any of his fans out there who are looking forward to him being on top of the card. Unless it's like a Kofi Mania situation, like he wins the title, runs with the belt for a few months, and then gets shoved back down into obscurity.
I also read that they're filming 2 finishes for each match.
Yeah,
this is probably the best WrestleMania that Vince McMahon could ever dream of, because he can literally do whatever he wants with it. They're saying that WrestleMania is going to be taped next Wednesday and Thursday. They're also saying that the Raw after Mania, which is usually live the night after WrestleMania, is going to be taped before WrestleMania, which means technically on paper, the Raw after Mania is happening before WrestleMania, which happens before the Raw after Mania.
I'm telling you folks, RSN, we don't just spell wrestling, we're not just global, we're always fucking right also. On the fucking button.
Just so you know, Nick just mind-fucked everyone who listens to our show.
Exactly. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you.
I really wish I knew how to say it in another language. I really do. My French is pretty much limited to oui and bonjour. That can only get you so far. And my Spanish is limited to some curse words. That's about the extent of that. But we do appreciate all of you listeners around the world, and we will continue to give you the great content that you just can't get from other places.
And we won't be Empty Arena.
Definitely.
No, we won't.
We're not getting canceled.
And say what you want. We've been one of the longest running 3-man wrestling podcasts, going on our 5th year now. So anybody who's done it after us, they're just attaching themselves to our formula.
It's a fact. I mean, one of the things is you brought up a good point about this whole Empty Arena thing. It's a weird dynamic. It really is, because you kind of look at it, you're kind of used to all the reactions and everything. The crowd isn't there. It's a totally different vibe. But then, I mean, one of the big things also is kind of like, I mean, here's how I see it also. This potentially can be like a big opportunity for them. If you saw this, I feel I'm sensing kind of like a Lucha Underground kind of vibe in terms of production. Maybe, they can do something like that where,
because in reality, Lucha Underground was filmed at the Temple, which is kind of like the size of the Performance Center Arena, just minus the people.
They probably can get away with that. I mean, they can probably utilize something like that, like a similar format in terms of production, and build it as kind of like this whole thing. And if they could do it over like 6 weeks, even better. Maybe it gives them more room, I think. I think that's probably paradise for them. Because then they can do whatever the fuck they want. They have their own narrative. They can expand that. There's no crowd. That's even better. You can actually just go ahead and bring out your own kind of thing. And, just build up on characters. Makes sense, But,
to be honest, I like the whole promo inside the Empty Arena. Because, like Nick said before, the Edge one was perfect. You actually felt what he was actually saying.
That's a fact.
So I thought that was awesome. The Cena and Bray one, I thought that was good too. You actually felt the words. But then you always have the downfall. You have the Roman and Goldberg one. Need I say more?
Yeah.
But then I could also flip it, go to AEW. The Cody one that he opened the show with, that had me in my feels. That was a great promo.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like super duper impressed with it, but I happened to like the way that he did kind of real life scenarios with their ongoing storylines. Like they found the way to like sync the two together.
And then going back to what you said about the whole crowd thing in AEW, I thought it was great having the heels on one and the faces on the other. We saw a side of MJF that no one thought we would actually see. He was actually sitting there laughing, hanging out with everyone, not flipping
mostly
people
hanging
off.
out with the heels, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it's also, I mean, it adds another dynamic to the crowd. Maybe, it adds a different dynamic to the show. I mean, WWE, how did they combat that? They got Asuka on commentary for Raw. I mean, okay, fine.
Someone who doesn't speak a fucking lick of English.
Yeah, like, okay, fine. Like, haha, look, she can't speak English. Haha, that's funny. Come on, man.
I did get a kick out of it because she's so outlandish with her antics that it worked for me. I was cracking up laughing at it. I don't know if that was their intent or whatever the case may be, but and actually, I don't know if you guys have actually if you've actually read any like Japanese translations, because I've read some wrestling reviews from people who have covered like New Japan extensively, so they actually understand what she's saying.
Oh,
and she's saying some savage stuff. She's like cursing people out and saying "fuck you" and "off with your head, you motherfucker" and stuff like that.
Wow.
Holy shit! Really?
So yeah, that's what she's saying. In reality, she's mocking everybody and cursing them out.
I mean, yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
that's
like,
pretty cool.
Like, see, I understand that, but then when you have shit like the Byron Saxon segment, it was just cringeworthy. Like, come on, man, really?
Oh,
the best part of that whole segment was him getting kicked in the balls.
Yep.
It took so long to get to that.
Oh man, and you could smell it. Like, you could tell it. You could tell what they were doing, but or they were trying to do, but it just didn't come across that way. But then I think now it's kind of like, and then you see like things like Triple H on SmackDown, on the first SmackDown that they had, where they did the whole thing, Empty Arena, and it was just like, he was on the crowd. You could see he's like totally on edge, like all the silence and everything. He missed the crowd. He's like, damn, man, there's no like reaction or anything.
Triple H did like triple duty.
Yeah.
He was on commentary. He was being a fucking guy with a camera.
Yeah.
He did some other shit that no one actually acknowledges.
That's right.
Like Triple H.
I do think his presence did make for a better show. But it obviously it set up the door for a lot of memes afterwards, with Triple H and the camera kind of being like a voyeur kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I did get a kick out of the first initial SmackDown with him involved. I think only because it reminded me of the NXT Invasion episode. That will forever be known as the best episode of SmackDown on Fox in its existence.
Yeah.
That
was November 1st, 2019. Though Adam Cole against Daniel Bryan.
Which you could actually check out.
20 minutes with the clean finish. I just, oh god, that sounds
Which
so
good. You could check that episode out on Nick's website, ProWrestlingOpinion.com.
That's a fact.
I actually do talk about that, yes.
You're welcome.
Oh, quite. Thank you, sir. Thank you. But,
You're welcome, my fellow station head mate.
Yes. I'm gonna have to go back to rehearsal to kind of work that in. Can we get a do-over? Oh, we can't get do-overs. We're live. Oh, no. But speaking of AEW, there were a couple of big debuts. Just broken Matt Hardy making his return, and the Exalted One being Brody Lee, who is formerly known as Luke Harper.
And
Brody Lee was the name that he ran by on the independent scene before WWE picked him up. Yeah. Obviously, these things happening in front of an empty arena
and Lance Archer again.
Factor.
Yeah.
But I can't say they weren't well done.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. I think it's kind of like there's a controversy. They were saying how Cody is really just trying to it's basically WCW. Let's just raid WWE's talent. Let's get some ex-WWE guys But I think it's more than that. Like the best part with this whole thing with AEW is the fact that they're building they're seeding these storylines in before that. I can tell you probably next week they're probably gonna start teasing the revival coming over soon. The thing is it takes months and days and whatever, but at least they're taking the time to actually set these things up and it makes sense. It's not like Lex Luger just comes out of nowhere after he loses his contract. It's like, oh, okay, holy shit, this guy just came out. It's more like there's actually a build to it. They kind of merge it into their own universe, you should say, and that makes sense.
See, the thing with AEW rating, quote unquote, they're not really rating.
Yeah.
They're actually getting these people, and they're going to use them properly.
Yeah. And it's one of those things I think now.
Yeah, I'm dying to see a revival and Pride match for some reason.
Yeah.
Revival and
Young Bucks is going to be so good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that they can do with that. Like, they look at all the fuck the revival, like, promos that Cody's done. Why not just go ahead and have this thing where, they're part of the inner circle or something, like something outlandish like that. But at the same point, it's kind of like the best part, I think, with what AEW has done that compared to WCW, what they haven't done, is the fact that they met these guys into it and they melded them into their own universe. It might be another name, it might be but it's the same pace. It's the same pace. It's maybe an extension of their persona, but you can still connect with that talent. You can still connect and say, okay, I know that person. Like what they did with Moxley. Moxley started out as this kind of anarchy, anarchist, kind of, crazy out of the box fellow. Like, and then you see Vince just trying to make him into this crazy guy that just does comedic shit. To this fucking, and you see him AEW now it's just like this, renegade right now. So it just comes, I think really what it is just more about character development, and that's good. That's what AEW does best. So it makes sense for them to do that. And I see a lot of people saying that, oh, it's bullshit. This is just WCW all over again. They're rating their talent. They just want to go ahead and build their ratings. They're actually making them into their own universe. Yeah.
I read something today that Cody said. He said, we're not rating their talent. If you look at our roster, there's more unknown names than actually known names. And then he went on to name some people. Darby, MJF,
yeah,
Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn,
yeah,
Santana, Ortiz.
Well, they were already kind of known from Impact Wrestling as LA.
He meant like WWE talent.
Sammy Guevara. Yeah, I think he's
like,
really had to make up off of this inner circle storyline.
There's more unknown people, unknown to the major show fans like WWE and Impact than unknown names that they don't know.
Yeah.
Which is true. But look at all these names that are on the AEW roster. They're being used properly.
That's a fact.
Yes.
Yeah. I think really what it just comes down to is the fact that they
Go to a WWE fan, ask them if they know Peter Avalon.
They probably won't tell you. They probably don't know.
Like, they don't know Peter Avalon. They don't know Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, Orange Cassidy, who's the most over person in AEW right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Hangman Page might have something to say about that.
That's a fact.
True.
But then again, I think here's what the thing is that like WWE, they're a known brand. They're a they're a generational. There's 4 generations that built that, right? AEW is this quote unquote new brand that's coming out now. But the thing is, it's still it's incorporating like traditional wrestling kind of like logic and everything. It's not like the whole thing about let's just go ahead and build this up because we're WWE, we're a big name. They're kind of like, okay, let's just go ahead and do it. It's like Vince is trying to be Mickey Mouse, but basically they got Cody trying to be this this other alternative. It's like, no, I got my own shit. I know what I'm doing and everything. This is our own brand. This is something different. We're not trying to rip off WWE. We're not trying to be a copy of it. We're trying to be something different. So I think it just adds on to that. It's just that this is an alternative, and they're sticking to that message. So I think that's what kind of is going to have them stay for a long time.
That's true, though.
Yeah. But then if you look at, let's say, things like NXT. I mean, for the past 2 weeks with NXT, between all these little sit-down interviews that they had and everything, of course they had things with Ciampa and Gargano and all that stuff. I gotta say, like they're actually yeah.
Their brawl was amazing.
Yeah, that brawl was crazy. Like the way that they had that set up, like it was like, I mean, of course you can now you have more, better way of probably quote unquote choreographing it. You could probably add some more things into it, add a little Norman Smiley into there. No problem, you're all good.
Like, what do you think of their backstage brawl?
That brawl was like, yeah, I looked at it, I was like, damn man, like this is actually like this reminds me of some of the stuff that happened back in the day. Like it kind of brought me back to that. I was like, okay, they're taking some stuff like that. It's not like some generic kind of bullshit. That's like, okay, let's just cut it off to something else and let's just go back and they're actually doing like bullshit and all that stuff. This is like actual reality based stuff. Like, okay, fine, there's something I can actually believe. It's believable. So
I'm taking a fucking weight. I'm gonna throw it.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna fucking dodge it. And it's gonna break the glass.
Exactly.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was great. And that's the thing, it's real. So I think it gives that kind of, again, it keeps kayfabe alive, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, this is something that's a real life situation. I can relate with that. Okay, that's real. It's believable. It's not like some bullshit where somebody just goes through a wall that's made out of like plaster or something like that, and you see them in a freaking, like a what you call like a stormtrooper mask or something. And they're like, oh yeah, that's somebody that actually comes out. That's how people actually fight. Oh man, come on. Like there's got to be some reality to it. So that's one of the things too. Yeah, but then I mean,
it's just weird.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, here's one of the things I say. We talked about, of course, with AEW. We talked about WWE. What about all these other companies? We got Impact, of course. I think they said that they completely turned off, all the different programs that they're doing now. With I think it was what was it? I think MLW even said that they're not doing any more tapings or anything like that. No more shows or anything. All that stuff. I know. What you call it? But then you have actual wrestlers. I think Braun Strowman was even saying, he's like, we're not even getting paid for the time that we're not there. Like, I know other people probably...
I just want to release some breaking news. R-Truth is the 24/7, 48/7, 7-Eleven television European champ again. He beat
Riddick should make Moss. A social distancing championship.
They should.
He beat Riddick Moss while he was running by his house.
Really?
See, what else can you get? Up to the minute breaking news.
That's a fact. But of all places, really, like now, this is probably one of the, like, I guess, one of the environments that, like, maybe they shouldn't be doing this stuff. But it's like, oh, whatever, who cares? We can still do it. I guess coronavirus doesn't apply to the 24/7 title.
24/7, 7-Eleven, European television, intercontinental, whatever title he owned.
Yeah, that's right. When we talk about that, like breaking news, what about, I know that we talked about this before, the Benoit, I think Vice released something for Benoit, right? I know, Nick, you probably saw that, right?
Yeah, so it came out on Friday night, I believe. I caught it before SmackDown. I was actually watching it during the first hour because SmackDown. Basically, it talks about the Benoit saga. Breaks down Chris Benoit's early in-ring career to his upbringings and his WCW stint. The storylines with Kevin Sullivan and Nancy and how they kind of broke into the business. There's a lot of insight from Benoit's son. Jericho's on it, Chabo's on it, Vicky Guerrero's on it, and it kind of intertwines with his relationship with Eddie Guerrero and how his death had a toll on Benoit, and it's just a really emotional documentary. It's definitely recommended to any wrestling fans, especially any fans who were watching wrestling at the time that they were around, in the 2000s, Ruthless Aggression era. It's perfectly well done. It's well reported. Anything that you could basically want to know from that period of time, from the people who are there, it's pretty on point. And Chavo even talks about when Eddie Guerrero died and how he essentially died in his arms.
Yeah,
the bathroom
real emotional.
Floor of the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really emotional stuff. But if you could get past that, It's a really good watch.
Yeah.
The second part, I believe, airs on Tuesday, the 24th at 9 o'clock. So probably going to be watching that.
Yeah, definitely. When I saw that,
they're going to be doing some other Dark Side of the Ring episodes too, like one for Owen Hart, one for
the Brawl for All,
I believe.
Yeah, they're doing a whole bunch. I think it's a whole series. They said it's like this whole season where they do all kinds of stuff. They're talking about Brawl for All. They're talking about all the stuff. Like think of it as kind of like this. This is a 24 special, not done by WWE, basically. So any topic, everything's off limits. Like everything else off limits. Take the chains off. You can talk about it, no problem. So it's one of those things.
That's what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's very emotional. You look at it, you're like, holy crap. When I saw that Benoit, like the little piece that they did, it was pretty interesting. And one of the things that stood out was, of course, Jericho saying, he's like, this isn't, he's like, listen, this is not me glorifying his death or anything. This is the actual facts. This is something that happened. And now they actually have an opportunity to actually say it on camera. So it was one of those things that kind of educated. It kind of educated you in a sense too, because you're kind of like you're thinking at all these things and you look at what's really happening, but then you're seeing it through the narrative like the media. It's like, oh, it's road rage, it's road rage, it's road rage, and then that's what you kept getting bombarded with. And the next thing you know, it's kind of like something a little bit different. And you're like, oh wait, there's another perspective to this. Let me see what's going on. So we talk about being educated. PWO Pro Wrestling Opinion, of course, you'll probably see it on there. It's not like you can actually go over there, you actually see the views, actually seeing the actual kind of feedback and stuff like that. You internalize that and you make your own opinion from that. So it's not like all these other things where it's like, okay, let's just go ahead and watch it and just take it and just regurgitate it. You're not being spoofed at something. You're actually learning something as you're reading. So that's another plug for you, Nick, by the way. So, yeah.
Thank you. I've lost count of all the plugs.
Yeah, we lost a lot of plugs. It's crazy.
More plugs than a power surge.
Yep. That's us. PWO, Pro Wrestling Opinion. Definitely check it out.
Plug Wrestling Opinion.
Plug Wrestling Opinion. I like that.
I forget. It's like all these days are starting to feel the same. I got laid off from my date, so I'm pretty much just home all the time. And every day is an off day. Except I can't go outside for a walk, really. Saying, don't want to catch this thing.
You got to do this before the curfew, quote unquote, that we're going to get, so...
Oh no, that's already in effect.
Oh, it's starting now? Really?
8 o'clock tonight.
That's wild.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But, it's a scary thing. It's, just a lot of people are laid off of their job. A lot of people are working from home. The American life has basically now changed utterly and completely. Yeah. And now everybody has to keep a distance from each other. So everything is just kind of like turned 180. So, this is new to all of us. So we're still taking it day by day. Yeah. I am hoping that, people are making the best of it. Sometimes in the face of crisis is when people truly step up. You have a lot of people probably checking out podcasts for the first time, so maybe they are listening to us for the first time. And if that is the case,
for the first time listeners, I hope you like it.
Yeah, that's a fact. But
yeah, they like it, they love it.
We hope you love what you hear.
Yeah.
Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle. Hell, tell the mailman, tell the milkman.
No milkman, it's 2020.
We don't know where they live.
Well, the thing is, we're all in quarantine, so that's another thing too. So
yeah, I think they're quarantined with bottles and bottles of milk.
Yep. But nonetheless, yeah, it is kind of a hard time. Have you guys ever seen this kind of situation before? Beyond, let's say, 9/11?
No, 9/11 wasn't shut down.
It wasn't even like this, right? Let's say
9/11 was 9/11 was shut down, maybe for a couple of days to a week. But eventually, baseball came back. You were always allowed to hug each other, so that was a thing. You got closer.
Yeah.
The only effect would be offices that were in Lower Manhattan got moved uptown for some time for a year. My aunts actually worked 2 buildings away from the Twin Towers.
That's wild.
So once that all went down, their original office building sustained a lot of damage. So it took a year to fix it. So they were working in Midtown, Uptown, I think. I forget where, but it was a totally different setting. schools were closed September 12th. It just changed people.
Yeah.
And like the blackout in 2003, that was I was actually in the city for that one.
Yeah.
I was in my aunt's office building for that one, and we thought it was, oh my god, not this again. And everybody looked outside. It took 3 hours to get home. We ate pizza by candlelight with my family, which is about as awkward as it gets.
That's a little
then you had
bit.
Hurricane Sandy. That disrupted things for a few months. The MTA took a really hard hit. They were still repairing stuff from that storm, and it's 2020, and I think
that was 2013.
Yeah, no, 2012.
2012.
I think
2012, yeah.
they're just getting over that hump now of fixing all that stuff that was damaged, and we were doing good, and then this thing like started spreading like wildfire. Got people in Florida conjugating on the beach, and now they're all starting to get it. There was a festival in Miami where tens of thousands of people attended it. 9 people from it are confirmed positive, so probably everybody there has it. And all of those people are probably infecting tens of thousands of people. And it's just crazy how contagious this thing is.
Yeah. It's a.
Like, I know there have been athletes that tested positive. No wrestlers yet.
Celebrities, no wrestlers yet. But I'm wondering what the protocol might be if that happens.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think really it's kind of and this is again, you got to think about it. This is a pathogen the size of, I think it's like what, I think 90 nanometers, small, really really small thing, that's causing havoc everywhere. Economically, it's having an effect. Socially, it's having an effect. Everywhere it's having an effect. I mean, on the wrestling world, they've talked about it. It's a big impact. Everything's shut down. People can't watch wrestling anymore like they used to. You can't watch sports like you used to. Everything's totally
You can't watch
off.
sports, period.
Can't watch anything. Exactly. It's like the only things on. I think Nick was saying. I mean, Rich was saying on ESPN is like what was it, like sign spinning competitions, something like that, like chess. Like probably that's.
Yeah, they have.
They're gonna have social distance competition.
Yeah, social distance competitions. All sort of bullshit. But it's like
I mean,
if you turn on ESPN right now,
because the ball goes from one person to the other.
Yeah.
If you put on ESPN right now, they're showing Wrestlemania 30.
That's crazy.
That was a good Mania.
Yeah, that was a really good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
That was Wrestlemania.
Yes, it was. That was Wrestlemania. That was also where the streak ended, which kind of overshadowed the.
And that was also where Hulk Hogan called the Silverdome the Superdome.
Yeah.
Oh, classic.
About 6 times he said it.
Nice.
I remember when I slammed Andre the Giant here. And the Silverdome. Asshole, it's the Superdome.
Hell, even the schools are closed. There's no sports. Baseball season's supposed to start soon, if they even start at all. We cannot even have a season.
They're starting 2 weeks late.
The Houston Astros got bailed out by a virus, as they were in for a season of just getting ridiculed.
Yeah.
They're starting 2 weeks late, the MLB season.
And that's what they're saying, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, it's just, again, everything's out of hand right now.
Don't forget, they're going to different states and different cities. They're going. It's all over the country, and Canada. How are they going to get to Canada? How's Toronto going to play other teams? How are other teams going to play Toronto?
That's right.
Those are the things that are in effect now.
True. Are you working, Nick?
No. I got late. The restaurant I was working at, we got hit hard because they shut everything down. So most of our customers were in-house and tourists. So once you shut everything down around us and you limit us to just takeout and delivery, it wasn't enough. So gradually the hours started getting less and less. Then I worked a grand total of 4.5 hours this past week.
That's crazy.
And officially it's on paper that I'm laid off. So every tons of people in New York City are trying to file for unemployment right now.
Yeah,
and the website keeps crashing.
It is.
Because the traffic is too high.
Yeah, I tried it myself.
It's almost like a video game. You play it, you get to like the 5th level, the 6th level, and then the big boss comes and kills you, and then you have to start all the way over from the beginning because there's no check.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what the situation is. So, um, but between that, I'm running Pro Wrestling Opinion. I'm running Music Bugle. I always have home, so that hasn't stopped. That's still in operation. We got the music podcast on Station Head, Music Bugle Radio. I do hope if any iOS users out there want to check it out, feel free. Big Guy Rich is also on Station Head as well. Check out his station. We might even do some episodes on Station Head soon. So if you guys have that app, it's just something to keep an eye out for, just in case. But yeah, this is the first podcast we're doing. The whole coronavirus, it became a widespread concern, and it's actually changed American life. It's not the we don't feel the one thing I think they took away. It feels like nothing is free right now.
Exactly.
There's no freedom.
Yeah,
we're stuck at home, and we're fighting over toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's one of those things. I think really it's kind of like again, panic, all this stuff, media and everything. It's gonna cause that. Like that's what it's gonna come down to. But I think really we gotta think of it as kind of like we gotta stay positive. It's one of those things where we've been through shit like this. We can get through this too. I mean that's one of the things too. I think Nick talked about it. Like he lost his job. Same thing. And for me, I'm same thing. I think I was working at 2 gyms. I lost one. I think both of them. Same thing. They were like, we're gonna, just the same thing. I have to apply for unemployment because you're not getting any checks. So I'm not getting nothing. So same thing. I tried to go on there to apply for unemployment. Nothing. It just kept crashing down.
Yeah.
Same thing. Hit the big boss.
It just keeps knocking you out.
It keeps locking you out. It's frustrating.
It's the first time in a long time we don't have any steady income. Exactly. I mean, per se. Yep. But a lot of companies laid off people so that they could apply for unemployment, just so that they could get something. Supposedly, you're supposed to get $1,000 from the government. I'll believe that when it shows up in my.
Yeah. Again, this whole stimulus bullshit.
My job, since we deal with a lot of medical stuff, my job is open. We're considered essential because we deal with a lot of medical records, test results, medications. So we're still open.
Yeah. It's just affected a lot. It's affected a lot of people. People who aren't working essential jobs essentially don't have jobs. People who are working in offices are now working from home or not at all. They just really took away everything to make sure people stay home. And we could be in for a few months of this. Could be the rest of the year. Could be a year and a half.
Yeah.
We don't really know. We don't know the answer. We don't know.
And that's the scariest part. We don't know. That's the scariest part.
That is the scary part too. So everything that we're seeing right now, the Empty Arena shows, the pay-per-views, this is how it's probably going to be for the foreseeable future, unless told.
Yeah. Unless, like I said, hopefully things change. We'll have to see. Again, just stay positive. And again, it's kind of one of those things, just help out wherever you can. If you got elderly family members or whatever, help them out if you have to. Help them out if they're, getting groceries, wherever the case is. Just try to stay safe, Just follow whatever the CDC is saying and the government's saying. Social distancing, that's one of the things that's helping out for sure. At least
sanitizing, no matter what.
Sanitizing, all that stuff. And all you assholes that out there that are either stocking, just overstocking on stuff and just hoarding supplies and all that stuff. If you're going ahead and you're selling this stuff and you're overpricing it, you're price gouging like a motherfucker. Fuck you guys. You guys are a fucking disgrace to the
We'll find you.
Fuck you. You guys are assholes, seriously. But then it's one of the things, there's some people, yeah.
Us at the RSN Wrestling Podcast, we will find you.
Yes. It's one of those things. I mean, it's one of the things, we're supposed to, I guess, and this is how I would say it. This is kind of like karma, because if you look at all the stuff that we're doing, the whole industrialization, all that stuff, I can go through that the whole time, but it's taking a toll, and now we're paying for it. So, it's one of the things now, and now we're resorting to this where we're, hoarding, goods and everything that other people need, and price gouging stuff and all that stuff. It makes no sense. At the end of the day, we're in this together, everybody, as a human race. So we gotta go and try to help one another, not fucking bring each other down. Seriously, this is
even if you don't like someone, check on them.
Exactly.
Make sure they're okay.
Family, friends, whatever, cousins, second cousins, third cousins. You might not talk to them.
People you don't even like, just check on them.
Just check on them, exactly. It's one of those things. So for sure, it's one of those things where again, we're on this together. We'll get through it. let's just stay positive, and we'll see what time comes from there. But in the meantime, I mean, we're still gonna be shooting our shows. We're still gonna be doing our shoots. We're still gonna be doing our episodes. We have one coming up for catchphrases. Then we have another show coming up for best stage setups, and we talk about all this other stuff going on. Also, new topics coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. Also, I mean, yeah, we've pretty much talked about everything so far. This is the Arsenal Wrestling Podcast. This is the Mastermind Sal. We got the other line, Big Guy.
Rich.
Yep, and then we got, of course, PWO's own and Music Google's own. Not just any Nick, the Nick Lopez.
Or in jail.
Yep.
The big NJL.
NJL, that's the new name now. We gotta stick to that. But yeah, we'll see you guys out.
See you guys.
Peace out.